find your seats. Turn your cell phone off or on silent. The program will begin in about 2 minutes. Inductees. Inductees. Thank you. Family, friends, and those of you live streaming tonight's ceremony. On behalf of Luther College, our newly inaugurated president, Brad Chamberlain, athletic director, Megan Wilson, and the entire athletics department, we welcome you to the 2025 Athletic Hall of Fame ceremony. My name is Brian Solberg, and I will serve as your MC for the evening. We're looking forward to hearing the citations and celebrating with the Hall of Fame class of 2025. A message from Athletic Director Megan Wilson. Quote, "Good evening, and congratulations to the 2025 Luther Athletic Hall of Fame inductees. Though I can't be with you tonight, I want you to know how deeply honored I am to begin my tenure as the athletic director alongside such a distinguished class. These honorees represent the best of Luther history, excellence in competition, and transformational power of the student-athlete experience. To the inductees and your families, thank you for your legacy, your example, and the foundation you lay for the future of Norris Athletics. You make me thrilled to lead North Athletics into a new era. Congratulations and best wishes for a wonderful evening. I look forward to meeting you tomorrow at the football game." End quote. As Megan indicates, we are so appreciative of your athletic and academic accomplishments and excited to share this evening with you. You have helped establish a foundation and standard for excellence in competition and academics that will be a benchmark that many future North athletes aspire to accomplish. The experiences you have shared in practice and competition have built lifelong relationships and memories recalled that bring joy, laughter, and in some instances, sadness. The key is you were surrounded by supportive family coaches, teammates, and administration. The new and renovated Jardine Fieldhouse will provide that same atmosphere for future athletes, and we are excited to see the impact the new spaces will have on their training and performance. The spaces may change, but you have woven a common thread to team, relationship, and competition into this deep history, and we thank you for your contributions and celebrate your accomplishments with you tonight. As we begin our evening, I would like to invite sophomore softball student athlete Maya Larson to the podium to lead us in prayer.
Lord, we thank you for this commemorating ceremony tonight, where we get to honor these former student athletes for what they have accomplished during their time at Luther and the impact they have made in others' lives since graduation. It is evident that each of these individuals have used their God-given talents and abilities to do so much good. Thank you for each of these inductees who are bettering the lives of your children every day in the work they continue to do. Bless and guide their efforts. Lord, we pray for these individuals' support systems, and may they know how much of a difference they have made. We thank you for so many people that made the safe trip to Luther today to celebrate. In your name we pray, amen.
Thank you, Maya. We will follow the order in your program, beginning with the Meritorious Service Award, followed by the Hall of Fame citations. Once each reader has completed the citation, the inductee will receive their award, and a quick picture with the inductee and reader will be taken. As that is happening, the next reader and inductee can make their way to the podium. At the conclusion of our ceremony, family and friends are invited to take pictures on the stage with the Hall of Fame members and readers. But first, we need a picture with the entire 2025 class. Then your family and individual photos can take place. Now, we will begin the 2025 citations. Please help me welcome to the podium retired Sports Information Director David Blanchard to present the Meritorious Service Award, posthumously honoring Warren G. Burke.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate the new Hall of Fame inductees. I've had the privilege of watching all of them play except one, and they were good. I also want to thank the Hall of Fame committee. Until about 4 years ago, I was part of that, and that was always one of my highlights of the year, was to get together when they were trying to decide and going through all the athletes on that particular class who would be able to get into the Hall of Fame. They do a great job. There's lots of unbelievable discussion. I was helping Christine, who's now the Sports Information Director here, and with that stuff, and I was looking at the list, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be one of the beauties, because it was loaded. There's no doubt about it. So they did an awesome job of selecting this year's class, so congratulations to you. Kind of a segue into this, the Meritorious Service Award was part of that Hall of Fame discussion many, many years while I was involved, and we were always trying to figure out a way as a group to be able to recognize individuals who had helped the athletic department one way or the other, but weren't eligible for like a distinguished service award that's presented here at Luther, or they're not Hall of Fame candidates in regards to the athletic part of it. It's all the service kinds of things that we were trying to look for to cover, and that's been done very, very well. This year, we've got the privilege to present this award to Warren Bird. Now, the interesting thing about this is when I saw that Warren was selected for the award, I called somebody. I said, well, who's doing Warren's citation? I said, what's going on? I said, I met Warren once when I was here in '92. He'd have been retired a while, but I did get to meet him at the national convention. We talked for a while, totally enjoyed it. And I said, well, who's doing it? And they said, well, somebody's writing it and somebody's going to present it. And I asked Eric, my friend Eric over here, I said, Eric, would you guys be offended if I was able to read the citation? Because I said, he was the first SID here at Luther, and we'll get into some of that stuff. And I think it would be great if I could do it, just so that you folks could relax and enjoy what was being said. And Eric talked to Paula. Did you guys like, yeah. Anyway, they said yes. So then I got to do this. So thank you for doing that. Their family is up here. We have Eric. I got to get by this thing. Eric, Paula, Torger's another son over here. Oh, he's over there. And then I don't know, we got three granddaughters. All right. And Erica just received a Distinguished Service Award here earlier this afternoon. So. Like I said, the award was first passed out in 2014. We presented that to Elliot Christen, the 1955 grad of Luther College, and for his service helping us announce for almost 32 years, he volunteered his time. Warren Berg was the first sports information director for the college, serving from 1951 to 1966. He was a true pioneer and literally put Luther athletics on the map. His children, who got to know many of the athletes personally, remember him calling in the results and box scores from gymnastics to track and field to football and baseball to area newspapers and radio stations from a stool next to the wall hung telephone in their kitchen. And they remember it so well, they say, because he tied up the phone for so long. So I heard this story from Paula because we had never met, and I sent her an email, we talked on the phone, and she's telling me the story, and I can go, I know exactly what was going on, because I was old enough when I started my career. There were no fax machines, there were no computers, and you literally, when you were done with a game or in the afternoon, you spent hours calling each of the radio stations, the newspapers, giving them inch-by-inch box scores, but you did get to know them. So when she was telling me that, I said, I know exactly what you're going through. Only difference is I didn't have daughters or kids that were looking to get on the phone. Warren, who was from Chicago, was recruited to Luther by athletic director Hamlet Peterson and graduated from Luther in 1948 after returning from World War II. It was also the year he joined the faculty in the Economics and Business Administration Department, earning his PhD in accounting from the University of Iowa in 1960. He was a born statistician. Now let's all put that in a little bit of perspective here too. He was a full-time professor carrying a full-time load, and then he gave his extra time to be a sports information director for 15 years or 16 years, something like that. All that extra stuff. Now, we go back to what it was like then. Everything was done by hand. Unbelievable. All the results, put in the box score, all the stuff from track, everything is all done by hand. Now, the one thing I can tell you is this, is that he was very meticulous in what he did, is when I was hired in 1992, we spent about the first 7 years in the summer times trying to put all of the statistics, all of the records, all the things together so that we would have a really good historical record of things. And you could tell when I got into the filing cabinets, Warren had laid it all out there for you. So it was very easy to find all that stuff and to put it together. But the time that he put into that, along with teaching, was unbelievable. In the mid-1950s, he joined the newly formed College Sports Information Directors of America, otherwise known as COSIDA, as the only SID from a small college. He soon was elected to its board of directors and became its secretary-treasurer and later its president at the urging of his friend Ted Mann, the legendary SID at Duke University. In 1985, COSIDA established the Warren G. Berg Award, which is annually presented at the National Convention to an SID from the college division, which is everything except Division I, two-year schools, and including Canadian institutions, to the top professional of the year. In 1907, he was awarded the Scoop Huggins Lifetime Achievement Award from the All-American Football Foundation. In the mid-1960s, when he served on the NCAA Public Relations Committee, he was part of the committee appointed to sign the first television contract for the NCAA basketball tournament. He later wrote he was in awe that the contract was for $4 million, an amount that pales in light of today's. So I had to go look this up. Being a stats nerd or whatever, in 2021, for a 14-year contract, they signed an $8.8 billion TV contract. So you can put the $4 million in a little perspective back in those days. Warren died in 2012 at the age of 87 and is remembered for many achievements. Among them was being selected for 2 Fulbright professorships and receiving the St. Olaf Medal from His Majesty, Olaf, King of Norway. He also taught more students than any other professor during his 40 years at Luther, according to Stability and Change, Luther College in its second century. One of those students, William Hullig, established the Warren Berg Endowed Chair in Business in 1988. He was also instrumental in establishing Luther College as an institution with a reputation for outstanding athletic programs that maximize student potential on and off the field. It is with great pleasure that Luther College and the Luther College Athletic Department presents Warren Berg and his family the Athletics Meritorious Service Award.
Just to clear up a couple things before I begin tonight, James is not my son. I've already had a couple questions about that, so here we go. James, bro, this is pretty special. Special to celebrate my younger brother for his achievements as a player and coach at Luther College. Coaching my younger brother and then coaching with him for 5 seasons was the biggest honor of my coaching career and helped shape the last 15 years of success for the Luther College men's soccer program. James is special. He made a huge impact for our program, but it didn't actually start like you would think. One thing he wasn't special at was running and passing fitness tests. As one of 33 ESPN high school All-Americans, the other 32 went D1, we were absolutely thrilled when he had decided to come and play at Luther College. The talent we knew was coming. On day one at Luther in our preseason, he didn't pass his fitness test, which meant, based on one of our rules, that he wasn't allowed to dress for our opening scrimmage. My parents had come up to move him in and had adjusted all of their travel plans to watch him play in his opening collegiate game. I got a phone call from my wife after he hadn't passed, and she had shared that my mother was less than pleased with this choice as a head coach. I tried to remind her that I also was her son, but still less thrilled. Mom, you should know that we no longer have that policy for our level of our tests. Even though he didn't start didn't have the most special start, he would go on to become a two-time All-American, a two-time academic All-American, an NCAA post-grad scholar. He helped lead our team to a pair of conference championships and 2 national tournament appearances, including a run to the NCAA Sweet 16 in 2011. Failing his fitness tests also set the stage for James to become the leader and humble teammate that he was. He was special in the way he treated others and led others. His humility and authenticity set him apart from others, and he made the best of all those that he worked with. Here's what some of his teammates and players he coached shared about the impact that he had on them, which is what really mattered to James. Matt Hoffman, class of 14. Double high five and hugs was our pregame ritual before every match. James had an extraordinary relationship with each individual in our program. His ability and desire to make everybody else better was contagious. He truly wanted to make a difference in everyone's life around him. It was truly a privilege to develop as a person and a player alongside him. He is one of my best friends from Luther College that I still connect with routinely, and it's because of his demeanor and infectious positive attitude. Holly Gray, class of 15. Playing on a team with James was one of the most joyful times in my life. His drive, leadership, and love for the game made everyone around him better, including me. He constantly showed up ready to get after it, while also genuinely and authentically checking in with everyone. I saw the work he put in firsthand, and no one deserves this honor more. I'm just so proud and grateful I got to be a part of his journey as a teammate, colleague, and genuine best friend. What a ride it was. Aiden O'Driscoll, 2019. I know a few people who are as universally respected and admired as James. As both a player and person, he set the standard of how a Luther soccer player should act. I spent 5 years at Luther College trying to emulate him on and off the field. And though I didn't get close, I became a better person for it. Former Luther women's soccer coach, Russ Schuweiler, graduate 2005. His team and individual accomplishments as a player and as a coach for the North soccer programs has set the standard that anyone affiliated with soccer at Luther will strive to emulate on and off the field. Those accomplishments are great, but James would share the credit with his fellow teammates and coaches. His humbleness is one of his best attributes, and James is one of the finest people I've ever had the pleasure to know. Future Luther soccer players will see his name in the record books and strive to be like him. I strive every day to be like James. Thanks for being you. Congratulations, James, bro, on your well-deserved induction into the Luther College Athletic Hall of Fame. I love you, brother.
Okay. I'm seeing lots of wiggly children. It tells me that there's more athleticism growing in this next generation, so the genes are strong. I'm honored to read for Katie Dolan, and I'm going to have to call her Katie Dolan. Sorry, Josh, because that's how I know her, Katie Dolan Gerber. And I'm delighted to welcome her family and friends, her husband, Josh, their children, Brady and Chase, and Katie's parents, Maureen and Rob. Welcome. From her very first visit to Luther, Katie knew she had found a special community. The warmth of teammates and coaches made her feel at home, and a sense of belonging fueled a career marked not only by competitive excellence, but also by meaningful friendships, traditions, and lessons of perseverance and growth. Katie established herself as a force on both the cross-country course and the track. In cross-country, she was a two-time all-conference and two-time all-region performer. Katie contributed to the 2007 conference and regional championship teams and competed in 3 NCAA Division III national championships, helping the team to top 10 team finishes in 2007 and 2008. On the track, Katie's specialty was the 3,000-meter steeplechase, which, if you're aware of that event, it's grueling, something I never had to try. She became one of the most accomplished runners in school history. She was a 3-time Iowa Conference champion in the event and a 2-time NCAA qualifier. In 2010, she earned All-American honors with a 6th-place finish at the national championships. She also achieved all-conference status in the 3K and 5K and was a key leg on numerous relays, helping set records in the 4x8, 4x16, and distance medley relay. By the end of Katie's career, Katie's name appeared throughout the Norris record books, with top 10 performances ranging from the 1,000 to the 5,000 meters. But numbers only tell part of Katie's story. She was known for her strong finishing kick and her ability to rise when it mattered most. A perfect example of this was on Saturday night at the Indoor Conference Championships her senior year. She had just finished a stellar race in the 3K, placing 3rd to earn all conference honors. Moments after she finished, still breathing hard and beaming from her accomplishment, I asked her how she felt. "Great, that was amazing," she said. To which I responded, "Excellent. We need you to lead off the 4x8. It's up next after the men's 3K. Sorry, Katie, you rocked it. Katie displayed tremendous grit throughout her career. Her self-belief was fueled by all those around her, and she thrived on the collective energy of her team, which stoked her efforts and made the work of distance running a joy. She treasures her memories of how others inspired her efforts, such as a note from a teammate reminding her that if it came down to guts, she would be the one to win, or my belief in her on the morning of her first conference steeplechase title. A favorite memory was her mom shouting, "Put the hammer down," during her dramatic qualifying race on the track at North Central. I think Katie actually laughed out loud when she heard her mom shouting. And at the 2010 Track National Championships, when fatigue nearly overtook her, it was the voice of Coach Steve urging her on and her own decision to believe that carried her from the back of the pack to a 6th-place finish and All-American honors in the steeplechase. Katie's career was about more than medals and records. It was about discovering balance, pushing through doubt, and believing in herself because others believed in her first. As a psychology major, she saw firsthand the mental side of running and carried those lessons into her professional career, working with students as a school psychologist. Perseverance, growth mindset, the power of positive relationships, remains central to how she serves others today. Katie's legacy at Luther is defined by excellence, resilience, and community. She competed with heart, motivated others, was inspired by her teammates, and left her mark on both the program's history and its culture. For all this and so much more, we proudly induct Katie Dolan into the Luther College Athletic Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Good evening, and congratulations to all the inductees of the 2025 class. It's truly an honor to be here tonight to celebrate with each of you. I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity to speak on behalf of my friend and teammate, Michael Pettengill. I first met Michael when we arrived on campus in August of 2006, but I knew of him long before that. As kids in age group swimming, I remember racing and getting beat by a kid with a very distinctive flat top from a small town swim club in Vinton, Iowa. Though our exchanges were brief, just a good job or nice swim, it was clear even then that Michael was destined to be great in the pool. So when our college team gathered for the first time in 2006, my reaction was, what the heck is he doing here? And side note, he still had the flat top. Michael had the talent and work ethic to swim at nearly any college or university, but he chose Luther. I'm sure many factors played into that decision, but I know one thing for certain: family was number one. Michael's father, Merle, passed away when Michael was in high school, and while Michael's commitment to swimming was strong, his devotion to his family and his faith in God were even stronger. Being closer to family far outweighed attending another school that would have required him to be further away. I was fortunate to spend more time with Michael than most likely anyone during our years at Luther. We both swam breaststroke, majored in chemistry, and also lived together. I got to witness firsthand his incredible discipline, not just in the pool, but in the classroom as well. By the time Michael wrapped up his swimming career at Luther, his list of accomplishments was nothing short of remarkable. All-American, 5-time honorable mention All-American, 10-time liberal arts champion, 17-time IAC conference champion, 5 school records, 3 of which still stand today, 15 years later. His name appears 14 times among the top 10 fastest swims in Luther College history. And the number of times he earned Athlete of the Week honors are far too many to count. I envied Michael's ability to always swim fast. In the dog days of the season, when we were all extremely tired from the 10,000 plus yards a day that we were putting in, Michael always had an ability to find that extra gear and perform. Over my 20 plus years of swimming, I'm not sure I saw another swimmer able to perform like that and always swim extremely fast. His grit and determination were second to none. Today, Michael continues to lead by example as a high school teacher in Forest City, Iowa, and as a track and cross-country coach. He's passing on his work ethic and passion for athletics to the next generation of student athletes. Michael also continues to keep faith as a central part of his life and teaches Sunday school classes to the younger generation. He's built a beautiful life with his wife, Jenny, and together they're raising their children, Juliet and Maverick, with the same values of faith and family that shaped Michael into the man he is today. Michael is joined today by his family, his mom, Kathleen, sister, Marissa, her family, brother, Matthew, his in-laws, Kirk and Julie, and Sam and Jess with their family. Michael's dad, Merle, is with us in spirit, and though I never met him, I'm sure he'd be very proud of the accomplishments Michael had at Luther. But more importantly, I think Merle would be proud of the man that Michael has become. Michael, I'm proud to have been your teammate and to have witnessed your journey, but more than that, I'm honored to call you a lifelong friend, and on behalf of your family, your teammates, and everyone here tonight, it is my privilege to introduce Michael Pettengill, 2025 Luther College Athletic Hall of Fame inductee.
I'm honored to present Tiffany, Tiffers, Cruz, as I was fortunate to get to coach this two-sport student athlete in 8 seasons at Luther, 4 in volleyball and 4 in softball. I want to start by welcoming her parents, Al and Wendy, her husband, Philip, and her 3 kiddos, Marin, Finley, and Cole. Cole, stick with us, buddy. You got this. I'll pay for that later, I bet. In volleyball, she still holds the single-season individual record for digs in a season with 438. She was a special player who used her athleticism to play all the way around the court from her position as outside hitter. Her 2009 squad was the most accomplished volleyball team in Luther history and received an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament her senior year in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And I see we've got 2 special teammates, Gretchen and Heather, in the crowd. In softball, she was a 3-time All-Conference, 3-time All-Midwest Region, first-team All-American, and a first ever for Luther College, the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association Diamond Sports Division III Catcher of the Year in 2010. Still today, no other player in 57 years of Luther College softball history has caught more defensive outs in a single season than this one, standing next to me. 406 times she called the pitch and recorded an important out in the historic 2010 softball season, partnering with her 2 All-American pitchers, Kim Lambert and Lexi Detterman. Kim is in the crowd today, too. She also led the team in RBIs that year with 58, and 18 times she hit herself in by hitting a home run, which is still the Luther College single-season record today. In 2007, Tiffany and her teammates won the program's first conference title since the Betty Hoff era. In 2007 and 2009, she led us to an NCAA tournament bid, and in 2010, along with Hake, Simo, Y, Denner, and Lambert, most of them who are here tonight, she catapulted the Norse to its highest, number 4 in the nation national ranking. That team also won the first ever Iowa Conference tournament title in program history and won the Whitewater Regional to secure our first NCAA Division III College World Series berth since 1991. And Tiffany and her teammates knew how to win. They led us to a 4-year record of 142 and 37, winning 80% of the time. One of my favorite snapshots of Tiffany was a photo that was taken in the dugout. And it has nothing to do with her hitting home runs. We were prepping for our 2nd round NCAA regional game that we hosted in Decorah back in 2007, when Tiffany was the backup catcher, also our starting designated hitter, behind All-American Tammy Magner. The picture is Tammy on a bucket facing and addressing all of her pitchers, but peeking in from the side was our freshman catcher, Tiffany Cruzy, the learner. The one that would take over for Tammy a year later, and the one that would catch more putouts and call more strikeout pitches than anyone to ever wear a Luther softball jersey still today. My favorite and most memorable plate appearance by Tiffany, and her teammates will remember this one, was in the first round game against Central College in 2010 in the conference tournament down in Indianola. If you've never been to the venue, when you foul a ball off towards third base, left field, the ball just goes away, down a ravine. In that specific night game, 13 balls disappeared long and foul and never returned before she hit a grand slam over the left center fence in the first inning of the same at-bat. The final score that night was Norse 4, Dutch 1, which moved her team into 2 5-inning Mercy Rule wins over Simpson in the semis and the finals that same weekend. Tiffany defied all conceptions about home run hitters because she was very fast. She led us also in stolen bases and runs scored that year as well. She had impeccable timing at the plate, amazing bat speed, and really fast hands. Coach Terry and I still talk about Tiffany's unmatched hand-eye ability in practice 15 years later. I'm proud to present and honor 2010 Luther College graduate and 2025 Luther Athletics Hall of Fame inductee, Tiffany Cruzy-Rafe.
It's my honor to introduce one of the best Luther College wrestlers and our next inductee, Jeff Patzke. There are only 5 three-time All-Americans in Luther wrestling history, and Jeff is one of those 5. Jeff came to us as a homegrown wrestler from national powerhouse Apple Valley High School in Minnesota, where he was coached by Luther College alum Jim Jackson. Jeff was a starter a senior year at Apple Valley and qualified for the Minnesota State Tournament, but did not place and was flying under the radar amongst Apple Valley's star-studded lineup. At Luther, Jeff was about 500 as a freshman and won the Iowa Conference JV conference title. In the spring of his freshman year, I would often see Jeff quietly working in the wrestling room with a senior, Louis Fisher. It was great for Jeff to reach out to Louis to help him, and it was also a great indicator of the great coach that Louis would eventually become. With Louis' help, Jeff made a big jump that spring, and that helped him earn All-American honors as a sophomore by placing 8th at 141 pounds. He made another jump as a junior, earning his second All-American honor by placing 6th. And as a senior, Jeff was one of the very best 141-pounders in the country the entire season. To illustrate how good Jeff got in his time at Luther, I like to compare his journey to a journey of another wrestler from the same class from Bloomington, Minnesota, who we were also recruiting and who was nationally ranked in high school. That wrestler ended up going to Augsburg and also went on to be a 3-time All-American. Coming out of high school, that wrestler was here and Jeff was here. As sophomores and juniors, the gap closed, but it was still pretty substantial. But as a senior, Jeff wrestled that wrestler in the semifinals of the NCAA tournament, and the match went into overtime with Jeff narrowly losing. However, we have photo and video evidence that makes us believe Jeff should have been awarded the win in that match. And in fact, the NCAA changed the rules the very next year on how to clarify how near-fall points are awarded, and I personally believe it's largely due to that match. Nonetheless, Jeff rebounded to win 2 more matches to place 3rd, earning his 3rd All-American honor and playing a crucial role in Luther finishing 3rd at the NCAA championships and setting an NCAA Division III record for the most points scored by a 3rd-place team. Jeff was a grinder. Early in practice and in matches, Jeff might get taken down and get behind. In fact, he might get taken down more than once and maybe even get put on his back. But as practice or matches progressed, Jeff's pace would continue to increase while his opponents decreased, and he would wear them out. Sometimes we would wrestle 60-minute live goes in practice, and Jeff loved them. Jeff might sometimes fall behind by 20 or 30 points in the first 20 minutes or so, but over the next 40 minutes, Jeff would absolutely wear his opponents out to the point that they might not even be able to get back up off the mat after Jeff took him down, and he'd win by 50 points or more in those 60-minute goes. And the opponent would be wondering what the heck just happened. As you can imagine, this style of wrestling in the middle of our lineup fired up our entire team. Jeff developed a little celebration that also fired up our team. After Jeff would come from behind to win these matches, wearing his opponent out and leaving them fatigued on the mat, he would shoot some air pistols in the air like a gunfighter after the final whistle blew, earning him the nickname Pistol Patzke. I truly believe Pistol Patzke never lost a match his last few years. He just sometimes ran out of time. Jeff is joined today by his supportive parents, Rick and Bonnie, his wife Elise, and his son Luke, and his mother-in-law, Linda. It's with great joy we induct 3-time All-American Jeff Pistol Patzke into the Luther College Athletic Hall of Fame.
On a wrestling team, we like to say that when our guys get 2 workouts in a day, that they're double dipping. If they get 3 workouts out, we're triple dipping. And it's my honor to double dip in Hall of Fame citations tonight, and a real honor to introduce our next inductee in Gene Adams. Gene graduated from Riceville High School in 1995 and was a 4-time Iowa High School state qualifier at 4 different weights, placing 6th as a senior at a whopping, are you ready for this, 130 pounds. He grew into 130 by the time he was a senior. He then attended Iowa State for 2 years, wrestling for them in his 2nd year before transferring to Luther in the fall of 1997, much to the excitement of his new coach and first cousin once removed, which is me. Gene has been wrestling or coaching wrestling every year since 1996 and was named the Iowa High School Girls Coach of the Year in 2024 after leading the Decorah Girls High School wrestling team to a team state title. When Gene arrived at Luther, he had an immediate impact on our team with his work ethic, wrestling skill, academic commitment, and his comic relief. Gene embodied our team motto of train like a Norseman, as he worked hard in the classroom and on the mat, was a good person, and had lots of fun while developing lifelong, meaningful relationships every step of the way. Gene was twice voted team captain and was a true leader for our team in all phases, helping shape Luther College wrestling into what it is today. As a wrestler, Gene was powerful and aggressive. His scrawny 130-pound high school body blossomed into a strong 184-pound All-American at Luther. On team runs, Gene was always near the front. In the weight room, Gene was one of the strongest on our team. In the classroom, he had one of our highest GPAs. Gene hovered around 500 in his record during his first 2 years at Luther, but he was on the cusp of being a great college wrestler, and he and his coaches knew it. Gene doubled down on his training, but had an early setback while suffering a severely sprained ankle in early November of his senior season. His first competition back was the UNI Open in early December. I remember thinking before we entered that tournament that maybe we should hold Gene out and ease him back into a competition that's a little bit easier than the UNI Open, because that's really a Division I dominated tournament. Thank goodness I didn't make that dumb coaching decision. Gene placed 5th at 184 pounds in that bracket that had guys by the name of Cale Sanderson and Damian Hahn in it, and Gene turned heads in the process. That tournament helped catapult Gene into an outstanding senior season that culminated with an Iowa Conference title and All-American honors by placing 6th at 184 pounds at the NCAA Championships. Gene was one of 4 Luther All-Americans that year and 6 NCAA qualifiers, and he helped Luther to an 11th place finish at the NCAA Championships, setting the stage for Luther to win our very first NCAA trophy the following season. Now onto the fun part of Gene. His sense of humor is unique and awesome. I hope you get to spend time with him over the next couple days, because you'll enjoy every minute of it, as I know I'm going to the next few days. He had the ability to work very hard while having fun, all the while keeping focus on what he wanted to accomplish. He was at the heart of our team's fun in those days and was an outstanding teammate we all enjoyed being around. In fact, he was such a good teammate that he kind of took it into his own hands to try to get free cable TV for all of his teammates that lived down the hall from him in DSeth Hall. Back in those days, you had to pay for cable TV in a room. And he said, well, you know what, I've got a drill. I'll drill some holes in the concrete and we'll put a cable through and we'll get everybody some free cable TV. What a teammate. This moodletting worked out great for a while until someone, I'm not saying it was Gene, but somebody hit a water line in the walls and they flooded a few floors in DSeth. Gene is joined today by his supportive parents, Rick and Catherine, his wife, Kelly, his 2 daughters, Ellie and Sophie, and his son, Caden, as well as many brothers and sisters, relatives, teammates, and friends. Gene said that some of his greatest memories at Luther were training and competing with teammates, and that the day-to-day quest to be great transformed his teammates into his brothers. Well said, Gene. It's with great joy, then, we induct our brother, Gene Adams, into the Luther College Athletic Hall of Fame.
First, I'd like to welcome the family of Holly Wendt, who are here with us for this evening. We have her husband, Aaron Krauser. We have their family, Andrew, Grace, and Caleb. Her parents, Keith and Linda Wendt. Her in-laws, Alan and Cindy Krauser. And her sister, Jen Bjorklund. Welcome to Luther tonight. Holly Wendt Krauser graduated from Madison Memorial High School in Madison, Wisconsin in 1996. She had enrolled at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, but changed her mind, got it right, and came to Luther College instead. Holly graduated from Luther in 2000 with a communication major and a psychology minor before completing her Master of Arts degree in Marriage and Family Therapy from Bethel Seminary in 2004. While studying at seminary, she learned that she loved Bible study, church history, and theology classes. Holly had played a lot of softball, mostly outfield, before coming to Luther. She played travel ball with the Madison Hitters from 5th grade until her junior year when she played for a team out of Milwaukee. As state champions, her travel ball teams advanced to experience competition at the national level. Her high school team was considered the team to beat. She was named All-Conference 4 times and All-State 3 times. Holly possessed all the tools to be an outstanding defensive outfielder. Quick reactions, great speed, a strong throw, and a determination to not let any ball drop that she could possibly catch with a dive. Holly played each of the 3 outfield positions during her first season. In her sophomore year, she became the center fielder, with Sarah Edwards in left, always her reliable backup. That combination would continue for 3 consecutive seasons. Luther opened the 1997 season in Orlando, Florida, with Holly in the starting lineup. In 8 games, she had 14 hits in 23 at-bats for a .608 batting average. She stole 5 bases, scored 12 runs, and drove in another 7 as a major contributor on offense. Holly would go on to set 6 school career records by the end of her senior season. A career batting average of .399, 152 hits, 33 doubles, 107 runs scored, 50 stolen bases, and a slugging average of .612. She was also in Luther's top 5 for career triples, home runs, and runs batted in when she graduated. She was named to the IIAC All-Conference team 3 times and to the All-Region team 3 times. During Holly's senior season, she stole 19 bases in 19 attempts. Over her career, she was thrown out only 3 times. The manner by which Holly stole 50 bases and scored 107 runs was particularly notable. She used her quick acceleration, outstanding speed, and an elusive slide. We taught only the feet-first slide at Luther and did sliding practice outside where there was still a nice thick cushion of snow. Holly came to Luther with a highly tuned head-first slide and some sneaky arm movements to reach the base behind the fielder. She promised she would never slide into the legs of the catcher, and true to her word, always found a path outside and behind the catcher. After leading Bible studies for 16 plus years and teaching Bible literacy, Holly now holds the position of small groups coordinator at her church, Alexandria Covenant Church. She also coaches a middle school mountain biking team that competes from July to October each year. Holly has recognized that it was the people at Luther, teammates and coaches, who made her softball experience special. She continues to be grateful to pitching coach Tracy Yelly for staying late after practice to throw some more batting practice. Holly shared the role of team captain for the 2000 season with classmates Sarah Edwards and Rachel Nicholas. Together, they made softball fun and sometimes adventurous for each other and for the entire team. The strength of leadership Holly saw in Kathy Kempf, a team captain the previous season, was particularly impactful for Holly. Holly and her husband Aaron live in Alexandria, Minnesota, where Aaron is an urgent care family practice physician. Their son Andrew is a sophomore at Bethel University, daughter Grace is a senior in high school, and son Caleb is a sophomore in high school. Luther College is proud to induct Holly Wendt Krauser into the Athletic Hall of Fame. Soli Deo Gloria.
Oh, louder. So tonight, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to talk about our next inductee, Matt Lauder. Matt was a roommate of mine for nearly 4 years at Luther, and remains an incredible friend to me today. Matt is a graduate of class of 2000 from Thornton, Colorado, who now resides in Frederick, Colorado. And Matt is joined here this evening by his parents, Hal and Joan, his wife, Heather, Morgan, Lexi, and Lucas Lauder, his 3 kids. So I feel uniquely qualified to talk about Matt tonight because we're so close at Luther. We both contributed to athletics at Luther, me in tennis, Matt in soccer. And we've remained amazing friends for 25 years since graduating from Luther. So after Matt joined Luther College Soccer in the fall of 1996, Luther went on to have some outstanding seasons over the next 4 years, which included 3 trips to the NCAA tournament, and marked by their run to the Elite Eight in 1996. Matt was a key contributor throughout his career and finished as just one of 5 Norsemen ever to be a 4-time inductee to the All-Conference team. And Matt was named the IAC Conference MVP in 1998. So when I reflect on Matt's career at Luther, and I think about his time as an athlete, 3 words stand out to me about Lauder: his toughness, his competitiveness, and his modesty. I've watched Matt demonstrate these traits during his playing years at Luther, and I've watched them demonstrate these same characteristics still today with his kids and in his life. Toughness. Matt commonly played the position of stopper at Luther. When you watched Matt play, he resembled a freight train. Matt would barrel down on any offensive player that came inside the 18-foot line. And if you were brave enough to come in and attack Matt in the box, you would be thinking twice about doing it again. Matt was truly known to be very aggressive and very disruptive. So you might think that Matt's style of play would certainly get Matt hurt or lead to some type of injury at some point in his career. But instead, Matt started 87 consecutive games at Luther and helped Luther dominate the Iowa Conference with 36 straight conference wins and then 3 trips to the NCAA tournament. Competitiveness.
Simply put, Matt was born to compete. While his competitiveness certainly drove him to incredible success on the soccer field at Luther, I have experienced many life circumstances with Matt afterwards that demonstrates that Matt's fire and desire to compete still exist today. So for example, this past April, I was down in April on a friend's trip with Matt in Arizona with class of '99 tennis athlete Ben Seelick. Oh, Matt and I chose to start our weekend with a game of pickleball, which Matt rarely plays, but it's one that I commonly play with a group of competitive tennis athletes all the time. The beauty of Matt's competitiveness is that he throws out any logic in any regard for who should win or lose in any type of competition. Matt literally threw his body around the pickleball court and passionately ran down balls that he had no business getting to. He didn't quite pull off the win, but you never would have known it the way that Matt competed. Truly the way that Matt lives his life as an adult still today. Modesty. Matt definitely played with a degree of swagger and could back that up on the field by usually being considered the toughest guy on the field. But what I remember about Matt equally well was Matt's modesty off the field. Throughout college, I watched him interact with teammates and peers, and never did I watch Matt boast about his performance on the field. Matt's teammate Derek Altorfer, who's here with us tonight, recalled for me that Matt was one of the guys on the team that if Matt thought you were ever too high on yourself or were bragging too much, Matt would quickly put you in your place on the field. It was a part of Matt that I've always admired about Matt is that he always let his game do the talking. He didn't have to speak about it after games. In fact, Matt's modesty made it quite easy for his peers and I, after his junior season when Matt was awarded the MVP, to organize an MVP party. Everyone was pleased to throw on their MVP jersey and honor number 21. We took great pride in recognizing Matt for his accomplishment because Matt instead was so modest himself. So it's a great honor for me to represent and to present Matt as the newest inductee to the Hall of Fame. I take great pride in being Matt's friend. It's an honor. Congratulations, Matt. Welcome to the Hall of Fame. It's a tough act to follow, but my wife's going to try. So tonight I have the honor also to speak about my wife, Leah Schmidt-Taylor, class of 2000 from Wadena, Minnesota, who now resides with myself and her family in Clive, Iowa. So Leah is joined here this evening by her mom, Virginia, her third child, Roman, and myself, her husband. I'm grateful to have this opportunity to talk about Leah's amazing accomplishments on the tennis court in Luther and how she has carried those successes and strong attributes forward in her life while raising her 3 children who are also athletes. Leah's tennis accomplishments at Luther were critical in helping Luther women's tennis complete an incredible run of 19 straight conference championships that finally came to an end in 2001 after Leah's tennis class graduated from Luther. In her final 2 seasons, she helped the team achieve a number 13 ranking nationally in 1999 and a number 11 ranking nationally in 2000. On an individual level, Leah ranked in the top 35 nationally in her last 2 seasons. She achieved a number 5 national ranking with her doubles teammate and good friend, Maria Miller-Rinaldi, from class of 1999, who's with us here tonight. So when I think about Leah's personal characteristics that allowed her to achieve these incredible individual and team characteristics at Luther, I think about her reliability, I think about her competitiveness, and I think of her selflessness. What an amazing ride she's taken me on. While watching her demonstrate these personal characteristics in her time as an athlete at Luther, and now through her adulthood as a teacher, mother, and coach. Reliability. Leah played in the top 2 singles positions for much of her last 3 seasons at Luther, while she posted a 50-19 record, with 7 of those losses notably coming against only Division I opponents. Leah's temperament and her game style were perfect for producing consistent winning match results for her team. She used precise ground strokes targeted to all areas of the court to move her opponents around endlessly. And Leah was and is still very much known as a backboard. She was incredibly reliable, imposing her relentless game style in the same manner every time. She was and still is strong in the mind and does not beat herself. Competitive. If you know Leah, you are quickly drawn in by her warm, wholesome, and calm nature. She's hard not to love in everyday interactions. But don't be fooled. While she has this sweet nature off the court, because on the court, she's an unforgiving competitor. Lee is the kind of player that I would coach simply by saying, I want you to make any point hard for your opponent. Give them nothing. Leah knew how to execute this. From early on in our marriage, I will never forget watching and feeling her intensity in what I thought was casual husband-wife point play. I learned quickly that her determination is extraordinary when she turns on the desire to win. I'm certain it comes from my late father-in-law, Tim, who showed those same characteristics in family card games. Selfless. Leah is the middle child of 5 sisters who were all strong tennis players. I've come to learn how that has shaped her life as an athlete, teacher, and a mother. Leah arguably knows better than anyone the significance of being a role player on a team. So it meant a lot and it connected with me when her teammate Maria Miller shared stories with me about how Leah prioritized listening to friends and teammates and encouraging them along the way during hard times. So today I watched Leah teach those same lessons to our 3 children, who have found also a love for tennis and for volleyball. Her presence and words constantly teach our family the values of reliability, competitiveness, and selflessness. So I'm so proud and honored to present my wife, Leah Schmidt-Taylor, as the class of 2025 Hall of Fame's newest inductee to Luther College.
It's really been a great day. This inauguration this morning, I sat through President Farwell's in 1963. That was my first inauguration. Been through a few of them since. But we hit a new high today. We got a great new leader. And if you didn't get that message, weren't here, be sure to pick up on that. because our best days are ahead of us. Now we get to tonight. The next good news, and the good thing I have to say, is we're almost half done. But I got better news than that. I got to go to the bathroom. Dave Lee, class of 1980. Today, Leland, Iowa becomes known as the hometown of two Luther College Hall of Famers. Leland's a town of 250, and most people here haven't heard of it, but Ken Hughlin, class of 79, and Dave here, class of 80. Dave not only followed Ken Hughlin to Luther, but also followed his own father, Milo, a graduate of 1936, and four siblings, Marv, who is deceased, class of 62, Lorna, deceased, class of 65, Dixie, class of 68, Arlen's 72, and the baby here, Marv, of 1981, or 80, excuse me. His brother Marv played on the 1960 Iowa Conference Championship team, and then played professionally in the Canadian Football League. Dave's father, Milo, and his mother, Agnes, served rural Lutheran congregations in southern Minnesota and the Leland Forest City, Iowa area for many years. The Lees are truly a great Luther College family and a great Luther College story. Dave has always been a real blue-collar guy. His profession following Luther has been that of plumber. These past 10 years, he has served as a specialist for Rochester Plumbing and Heating, serving exclusively the St. Mary's Health Facility and its plumbing needs. When the plumbing works, everyone at St. Mary's has a better day. Dave came to Luther after 2 years at Waldorf Community College and being regarded as one of the top junior college prospects in the state. Having played for Forest City High School coach Larry Holstead, and 2 years at Waldorf prepared him to step in as one of the best players in the Iowa Conference and one of the greatest players in Luther College football history. Dave had grown up hearing that Coach Edsel Schweizer quote, "When you put on that blue and white jersey with Luther College across the front, excellence and greatness are expected." Excellence and greatness are what Dave gave for the 2 years that he wore that Luther College jersey. As a kid, Dave followed and loved the Luther Norsemen. His heroes were fullbacks Jim Jefferson, who scored the first touchdown ever in Carlson Stadium, and Bernie Peters, who has scored the most touchdowns ever in Carlson Stadium. Dave's dream was to be the Luther fullback, but during the fall of 1978, Luther had a new head coach and staff, 3 freshmen starting on defense, a freshman starting at quarterback. We needed a Hall of Fame offensive right guard more than a Hall of Fame fullback. Dave Lee was 245 pounds of football savvy and skill. His speed was greater than everyone on the team except Jeff Weddick and Troy Pendleton. Weddick and Pendleton are all the conference sprint champions on conference championship track teams. Add Mike Woodhouse, freshman quarterback, Ken Hughlin, tight end, to Dave, Jeff, and Troy, and you had 5 very special players on that 1978 championship team. After today, all 5 will be Luther College Athletic Hall of Famers, and 2 of them from Leland, Iowa. The most difficult path to being a Hall of Famer anywhere is an offensive lineman. You don't have many glorious stats. The team's success is your greatest measuring stick. Your blocks are often referred to as pancakes, decleaters, alligators, slobber knockers. He would do all 4 of those in a game. Each of those is somewhat humorous, but they really aren't a statistic that go very far. Each of Luther's last 5 Iowa Conference championship teams have had great right offensive guards. The Edsel Schweizer system and philosophy was built on the ability to run the ball over right guard and tackle. Right guards Marsh Lundberg, 1960, Earl Jensen, 1963, Roy Faulkner, 70 and 71, and today's inductee, Dave Lee, are all Hall of Fame worthy on those 5 championship teams. During the 1978 season, Luther averaged playing 40 players each ball game. It takes a very special player to make 39 players around him better. Dave Lee was that kind of special. That's what Coach Schweizer meant about that Luther College jersey, and it's what makes Dave Lee and those 4 1978 teammates great Hall of Famers. They all made everyone around them better. To quote one of them, Jeff Weddick, Dave immediately became Mons, short for monster, when he arrived. All of us became better when Dave Lee walked into our locker room. We became very serious championship contenders at that moment. We all knew something special and someone special had arrived. Dave's great humility made it even better. Dave's greatest memory was the 1978 Buena Vista Championship game at Storm Lake. A great game and a great win to finish off a great championship run. The scenic Hawkeye bus trip home with Fast Eddie Wells at the wheel. The horn-honking trip down Decorah's Water Street and through the Luther College campus with a caravan of cars following was frosting on the cake. The stories of the time that those teammates huddled together on that bus trip from Storm Lake to Decorah are precious. They will stay on that bus, however, even 47 years later. Go Norse! In this year, 2025, Luther College proudly inducts Dave Lee into its Athletic Hall of Fame, Soli Deo Gloria.
You're not done. Incredible. Incredible, incredible. Congratulations, class of 2025. Your contributions to this community and the larger world have served thousands of other individuals. The same commitment you've demonstrated during your undergraduate years is mirrored in your life beyond Luther College. The transformational power of the student-athlete experience is a rippling effect when we work together in service to one another. As many of you have shared, you didn't do it alone. You had teammates, family, mentors, coaches, and staff that contributed in many ways to your success. They watched as you persevered through difficult workouts, intense competition, and moments of uncertainty. We know that being uncomfortable with the world around you and what you are doing is an opportunity for change. Each time you have been challenged, you have answered the call. Continue sharing your gifts with those around you and others. As others have done with you. And remember, just as you were part of this community during your competitive years, you are still and will always be part of this community. You are part of what makes this place special. It has been our honor and what makes competing great. An honor for our coaches to work with such an exceptional group. An honor now for Luther College to induct you into the Athletic Hall of Fame. Congratulations to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, one last round of applause for our inductees. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this year's ceremony. I would like to publicly thank the Hall of Fame Committee, Adam Strand and Christine Bjornstall for their organization and support for this event, the CFL staff, and the advancement team led by Piper Wood. Just a reminder, we will take a picture of the entire 2025 class, and then please join us for a reception in the CFL main lobby. Thank you, have a wonderful evening, and enjoy your homecoming. Soli Deo Gloria.